So from that issue to the next with so Akademiks got under some fire, and I've seen this Twitch when he talked about it. I didn't think nothing crazy. I didn't think there was anything crazy about it. I really didn't think much of it, but it blew up. So he talked about Lil Wayne's daughter, Reginae Carter, and her new boyfriend, and pretty much used her as an example of how women like her or Chloe Bailey, they like the thug dudes until the thug can get real, and the dudes gotta do some time in prison, and then they'll just leave them. They're not waiting for them. These girls are leaving them. He was talking about Reginae Carter's relationship with YFL Lucci, and how she was so in love with him, and they just had a whole relationship, and now she's done with him. She got a new dude, seemingly not a street guy, and they make YouTube videos. And then he's also talking about how Chloe Bailey was with Gunna, and it kind of seems like that's a wrap. She's just living her life, which is that's their right to do. And I don't think, and Akademiks wasn't saying anything was wrong with it. He was just make a lighter situation and bring it up. It's like, yeah, you see how that happens. Women should let you know that, hey, if you go to jail, you can all this thug stuff's cool. If you go to jail, I'm gonna leave you. But at one point, he was just making like a blanket statement again. So he said, it's funny how bitches, but he caught himself real fast, and he said, oh no, I don't mean that. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Caught himself right away and continued talking. Again, nothing really crazy was being said. It was got it all factual. She did. Hey man, she got a new dude who don't seem to be that tough. Now, he was kind of saying that the guy that Reginae is dating looks a little bit more feminine than her. Looks more feminine than her. It kind of a little jab, and he did say that she downgraded. So I can kind of understand her being upset about that. But I just think the level that this whole thing went to where her mom, Reginae Carter's mom, is coming out, Toya, and don't talk about my 23-year-old child, and T.I. was like, I gotta have a conversation with Akademiks. Reginae is like my niece, she protected, she under the umbrella. I'm just like, I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, I understand you want to talk about it, or you didn't like what he had little snide comments to say, but really wasn't that crazy what he said. And I have to agree with Ak on this. She's a public figure with a public relationship. She's monetizing of her life. I can talk about it. Should he have used the B word? No, but he corrected himself. And he corrected himself right away. It was just, how we are. People talk that the N word, the B word, they just come out sometimes. Like, it happens with me all the time. You gotta be, oh yeah, I don't mean this, and just keep going. I don't think there was any malice in his heart. I just think, again, this was the week to dump on Ak. They had him with the dusty comments about the pioneers of hip hop, and then his enemies had something else. Oh, yeah, now you talking about this poor girl. It's like all these same people have made comments about people's relationships at one point or another because they all media heads. But again, it's just attack Ak this week, which, hey, it happens. People get their backlash. They Ak said it again. It's just my week, and that's fine. That's cool. But I don't know. I just think that, like, really, if you're gonna be public in a public relationship and you're a grown person, and cracking a couple little soft, lighthearted jokes, like, what are y'all really mad about? And I would really be curious about what him and T.I. had to talk about, because Akademiks said he loved T.I., he'll talk to him, he has no problem talking to him. And Akademiks has been very respectful throughout this whole situation. Like, he was very respectful in his response to Toya. He's very respectful on the Breakfast Club when he broke it down on not just the Reginae Carter thing, but the hip-hop thing. But I'd be really curious to hear about what him and T.I. had to say, because I really want to know, well, what are you upset about, T.I.? Did you actually watch it? I know Toya was like, she didn't like him calling her the B word, and I was like, you're right. And he knows that was wrong. That's why he corrected it. Like, you really hold on to that. And if you watched it, you'd see the man stopped himself right away. Unless you watched a clip that didn't show that, but he did it so fast that you would know something was missing if you only heard him call her that and it stopped, because he corrected himself so fast. But look, your daughter's public. She's a public grown woman with a public relationship. She's on YouTube making YouTube videos with her guy. You know, if you want to say I didn't like some of those comments, that's fine. But I just think the level that this whole thing blew up to was really ridiculous. Like, come on, man. Academics didn't say nothing that was that crazy. He has said way worse things about women. When he went in on Chrissy Teigen, that was understandable. But this was just so mild, and he corrected himself with the B word, and everything else was just stupid, harmless jokes that you can be a little irritated with. But man, it's like a campaign. Come on, you know that if this hadn't already been a busy act week, nobody would be caring about this. So I'm happy that I decided to wait an extra day to put this out because I got a little bit more about this topic. So Act actually went ahead on stream and talked about the conversation between himself and T.I. Pretty much what I took from it is Reginae and her mama Toya, they were more upset about it. Looked like Act was trying to push a narrative that she was like a hoe or something, or one of them girls, and you know, T.I. was saying she's not that type of girl. Reginae, you know, Reginae's father's Lil Wayne. She come for money. She don't need no man. She's just young, living her life. So I was happy to get that. And of course, they were upset about him calling her the B word. They had a conversation about who's a B and who's not a B, and that there are Bs. I would say, and Act was listening to it, I would have had more pushback on that with T.I. if I was Akademiks. Just saying, yes, I know she's not a B. That's why I corrected it right away. I was just talking and just rambling on, and the word slipped out, and I caught myself. I would have just kept, every time he had something to say, I would have just kept repeating it. I get you, T.I., but do you not understand that I corrected myself? I already understand that. That's why I corrected myself. But as far as the bit about them not wanting to look like they was hoes or nothing, I can understand that. I felt like Act actually did comment on that in the original video when he said, you know, Reginae is Lil Wayne's daughter. She can mess with whatever she want. You know, she whatever. You know, he was just saying it's funny how a lot of these celebrities, they do mess with, you know, dudes who live give out the presentation of a more street life. But then when it get real street, they back up. It was just a funny thing to look at because Reginae, and then he was talking about Chloe Bailey messing with Gunna. It was understandable. So I get it was just jokes. But ultimately, it looks like they came from it with a better understanding. Hopefully, Reginae and Toya, they get cool with it, realize Act just goofing around. It wasn't really nothing serious. And it doesn't seem like no beef with this. So hopefully it's all done.
It's the WACCast podcast, yeah. Talk whack to me, talk whack to me, yeah. Talk whack to me, talk whack to me. It's the WACCast podcast, yeah. Talk whack to me, talk whack to me, yeah. Talk whack to me, talk whack to me.